My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
All right, I'm going to knock out one more video here today. I'll make this a quick one, shorter than the others. I know last video we talked about Jack London, and how can you talk about Jack London and then not talk about Hemingway, right? And I love so many things that Hemingway has written. Mostly the stuff on man against nature, and the fortitude that it takes not only to survive but to thrive against all odds. And I guess maybe it's a fantasy at times, in the desire to believe that I have persevered against the odds that were stacked against me for a long time. I keep waiting for somebody to, hand me this privilege that everybody talks about. And maybe it's maybe it's something I'm just not gonna get. Or maybe because my family background is replete with equal opportunity breeders that didn't care race, color, or creed of who they were with. Same with me today, right? So makes me laugh. Anyway, enough on that, right? Although I will say that I was a little bit concerned, because when I sent my DNA into a couple of different places to have them check it, and most Europeans have about 2% of Neanderthal DNA expressed, and I had 6% of Neanderthal DNA, which concerned me in a way, because you've probably read or seen the studies. Maybe you haven't. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing about it. Here's Tom talking science. People with leftover Neanderthal DNA are more susceptible to the coronavirus. I was kind of shocked at that. I didn't think that it targeted people based on their racial makeup, but it does, because the Neanderthal DNA had additional receptors in the cell membrane that the coronavirus can fit into in order to infect a cell and, of course, spread at that point. I was like, oh, geez, that ain't good. That ain't good at all. And then many of you know that my next younger brother passed away due to complications of COVID about 6 months ago, maybe a little more now. Last December, anyway. And I'm wondering if that was a factor. I don't believe so. I believe it was the poor and obtuse care that he received from physicians, if you want to call them that, who were so set in their ways that anything that deviated from their pre-established protocols was not allowed as part of the treatment scheme. Anyway. But back to Hemingway. And I'll say right here at this point, I'm not one of those people that is very gregarious. I don't have a lot of friends. I have a few close friends. I need more. I really do. And I have lots of acquaintances. And I try to be a sociable animal as much as I can stand, but not necessarily as much as probably I should. I'm an introvert by nature. INTJ from the Myers-Briggs. And so my introverted nature doesn't really give me the capacity to engage. Not only that, I was then diagnosed just a few years ago with low-level Asperger's. And I look back at my childhood and I realize just how socially awkward I often was. And it took a while. It took a while to be this charming. Trust me. It's always funny. Anyway, so I don't have a lot of friends that are close friends. But Hemingway was one of those people that I turned to when I was younger because I was always reading. I liked reading more than watching movies. Why? Because I could make the story happen in my head rather than get someone else's interpretation thereof. And while I would like some of my books to get made into movies someday, that'd be great. Chances are that won't happen, but I wish more people would read them. And because there's so much that gets lost in translation from the written word to film, and I wrote those words specifically the way that they're written in order to have an impact, hopefully a positive one, on others. And Hemingway said, getting back to Hemingway, I keep talking about it, I don't tell you what he said. There is no friend as loyal as a book. It's so true. I think of some of the authors that I like to read. And one of them, my favorite author probably of all time, Jean Auel, who wrote the Clan of the Cave Bear series. I revisit her novels frequently, every few years, because they taught me how to write, if that makes sense. Well, at the same time, giving me an adventure in a way that few other things can. Certainly not movies. And if you've read them, then of course you put yourself in the in the place of some of the main characters. And of course, I envision myself to be Jean Dollard. A very manly man with failings that he had to overcome, right? In order to properly be the man that Ayla needed him to be. So, there is no friend as loyal as a book. You gotta agree with that. It's always there for you. The second thing, boom, 180 from the first one by Hemingway here. All things truly wicked start from innocence. Wow. All things truly wicked start from innocence. And there's so many tracks that I could target on this. And it ties back to something that Benjamin Franklin said, where he said, out of the greatest of freedoms rises the worst of tyrannies. It's true. But you think about the things around you that are truly wicked. And I always think of war as being the most wicked thing that human beings have created. But also, at the same time, you have to be prepared for war, because you never know when somebody's going to bring it to you. But I look at how it's been perverted and used. And we only find out about it years later. About the game that was being played in order for the uber wealthy to line their pockets at the expense of the dead. It sickens me. War is no different today. And I suppose it's part of human nature. And people say to me, but Tom, you were in the military and you were part of that war machine. Yes, that is very true. But I was young, naive. At least that's what I like to tell myself. If you think about wickedness, and you just look at the human condition, you can't help but seeing wickedness lying everywhere. People starving to death. In places, especially that they shouldn't be. Yeah. Anyway, I suppose I should cut this off and let you all get back to the things you need to be doing, rather than listening to me rant. Try not to be wicked. Try to remain innocent. And above all, listen to what Tom has to say here. Go pick up a book and sit down and take a day. Take a whole day. Do nothing but immerse yourself in the story. Don't cook, don't clean, don't do anything. Ordering a pizza. Read a book. Maybe one of mine. Anyway, with that, I'll let you all go. I'll chat with you later. Bye.